Hey babes, welcome or welcome back to And Everything in Between. I'm Victoria, your host and guide for navigating the beautiful chaos of your 20s. Whether you're building your dream career, figuring out relationships, or just trying to find you, this is your space for self-growth, real talk, and a little fun along the way. Let's dive into it and everything in between. We're officially done with the first 3 months of the year, and it's time for what I like to call a spring reset. Around this time, people start cleaning out their homes and planning new activities, taking up new hobbies, and finally getting around to the project they were putting off until the weather got warmer. Spring is a time for new beginnings, and in many cultures, the new year actually starts now with the spring equinox. So it quite literally makes it the perfect time to reevaluate the goals you set back in early January and determine how far you've come, how far you still need to go, and if there are any new goals you'd like to think about. When this time typically comes around, it's slowly starting to warm up, the sun is setting at a later time, and we're all just starting to defrost from the cold of winter. Finally, this newfound motivation and energy, it's time to bring back that new year, new me mindset and get started on our spring new year goals. So, what I like to do around this time is think about the goals that I set in a few different categories back in January. Something like career, romantic relationships, friendships, physical fitness, hobbies, and literally look at every goal that I have and determine if it's still something that I want, first of all, because things change over time. We are constantly growing, constantly evolving, and it's important to take things off the list if they no longer align with the direction that you're heading in. And then I'll understand where I am in terms of being complete with that goal. So, for example, if I have a goal to save $5,000, I will look at my bank account and see how much is there. And if there's zero, then it's really time to start putting in the work to making sure that that goal has a little more priority than the others. And I'll do that with every single one of my goals. And I just want to note that instead of feeling discouraged by unfinished goals or things that really haven't started progressing, reframe it. Think about what is working or what you can focus on to ensure that things will start moving towards completion. For me, I'm really excited to share that I've made progress on a few goals that I set for myself back in the beginning of the year. In terms of my mental wellness, I started going back to therapy and learned that I actually may have OCD, which was very interesting to discover at the ripe age of 25, but it's been helpful to experience a different form of therapy to help me understand like what obsessive thinking is and what compulsions are and how I can remove the compulsion that comes along with an obsessive thought. Another one of my goals was to post a podcast episode weekly, and I have, and that's super exciting because when I was thinking about what this podcast would look like, it started truly as a hobby for me to kind of get unstuck in the best way that I knew how, which is talking about how I feel and the things that matter to me. And I thought it would be important to share those things with people who would care about the same things that I did. But it's quickly turned into a full blown project, and it's been so fun and fulfilling. And I can't wait to share all of the exciting things in store for everything in between with you because there's a lot to come. Another goal that was recently met and I'm really excited about is that I signed a lease with my girlfriend. This is something that we have been talking about for years now, and we're both finally in the same place at the same time and really excited to take this next step in our relationship together and start building a home together with our dog. And I don't know, it's going to be the best. And I'm really excited because when I had this kind of goal on my bingo board for 2025, I didn't know the actual possibility of it happening because it was contingent on a few different factors, but now we're here and it's really happening. So I'm really excited. Although, one goal I have not made a lot of progress with until literally last week, but the goal that I had was creating and sticking to a budget. Yeah. In the beginning of the year, I told myself that I would budget and dedicate every dollar of my biweekly paycheck to a specific bucket to help me manage my money more efficiently because I do spend a lot of money on experiences and food and dining with my friends and travel. So when all of that is just like coming out of my bank account or on my credit card and it's not already pre-allocated, it feels a little abrupt at the end of the month where I'm like, wait, what happened here? Where did everything go? So I recognized this last week when I was like, I can't keep living like this. I need to actually create a budget and allocate the dollars into specific buckets, especially the ones that matter most to me, like dining with friends. Because truthfully, I see most of my friends like during the weeks over dinner, and that's how we catch up. Or like going out to an experience, like getting our nails done, or getting massages, or going to the spa. Like these are all things that I need to be budgeting for because they're things that I'm going to keep doing very often. And it's important for me to set a limit for myself so that I'm not overwhelmed by the amount that I'm spending on this activity that means a lot to me. So, yeah, I'm not super excited to start doing that, but I know that it's necessary. And by the end of June, I'm really excited to see what my progress looks like because I did this. So I'd love to take the time to share with you kind of a spring reset plan, like specific action steps that you can take to help you with your spring reset. So, number one, with career and productivity, it's really important that going into the spring, you declutter your life. Look at things around you and update them if they need a refresh, like your emails. Is your inbox cluttered by spam and emails that you probably should have gotten back to for a project that you wanted to start or a potential job interview? Like, go into your emails sometime this week, unsubscribe from the things that you do not need, and follow up to the people who need a follow up. Also, along those lines, organize your desktop and phone apps. This is something I'm really excited to do this coming week because my desktop is overstimulated by random things that are just populated there for ease, like literally just having convenience of it being on my desktop. But I need to remove a bunch of things so that I can actually see my screensaver when I open my laptop, which is my vision board. Another thing is updating your LinkedIn or your resume. This is something that's really important to do. I like to say twice a year, once in the beginning and once towards the end. Even if you're not looking for a job, it's really important to one, always be ready to provide an updated resume, and two, to kind of like reevaluate how you're doing at your job. If you took on like a really big project that you're super proud of and want to highlight that in your resume, do it. Or if looking at your resume, you're like, wait, or not even at your resume, but just thinking about your career's journey, it's really important to see where you were, where you currently are, and what's possible for you based on your current title, skills, and experiences. Another thing that I think is super important and more accessible to do when the weather is warm is networking. Plan one coffee chat with someone who inspires you. Do it this month. Set the goal that you are going to reach out to someone who inspires you, who either has the role that you want or has the title that you want, or who's just doing something really cool. And ask them if you can pick their brain, if you can connect with them. Because honestly, 99% of the time, it is as beneficial for that person who you're inspired by as it is for you to connect with someone who is interested in what they're doing. And then lastly, in the career and like I guess productivity section of this is check in with old colleagues or mentors. Take the time to reach out to an old boss or someone that you used to work with. I am also really excited to do this because one of my old coworkers is now pregnant and I'm super excited to check in with her and see how she's doing because we used to get dinner like at least once every other month. So yeah, I'm really excited to hear about this new stage in her life and how she's doing. In the next bucket for spring resets are relationships. Something that I've mentioned in previous episodes is doing a friend audit. In the beginning of the year, this is something that I will do just to like understand which relationships are energizing me, which relationships are draining me, what I need more of from my friends, or what I need to kind of release or like minimize in terms of my energy and effort levels. So definitely take the time to do a friend audit. Literally write your friends' names down, and the first thing that comes to your mind, write that down, that word, that feeling. And then at the end of it, understand like how that relationship is giving to you. Or if it's not, determine what the next best steps are for that relationship so that you can feel more at peace because that's what we need more of in this world. The second part of this, romantic resets. If you're single, refresh your dating approach. Maybe you need to ditch the apps and actually go out into the world. Go sit in a coffee shop and chat to the person to the left of you, or go sit at the bar and have conversations with new people. Something that I did recently, I went to like an art networking event, and I am not super into the world of art. I obviously love and appreciate it so deeply, but it's not really my area of expertise. But at this event, I was able to meet so many cool people who also were not art fanatics and knew every single detail about art, but just wanted to be in that environment and space. So even if you feel like there are things that you enjoy, but you haven't like given it any of your time or attention because of whatever circumstance, that could be the place where you end up finding your partner for life. So put yourself out there, go to a new place and get to talking. And if you're in a relationship, it could be the perfect time to plan a trip with your person. Go, or even just like to get out of the city that you're in. The next part of this action plan is to revisit your physical and overall wellness. Try an outdoor yoga or workout class in the park. Think about the meals that you've been eating. Have you been gravitating towards comfort foods like burgers and fries because it was winter and cold and having a salad just didn't sound appealing? Maybe it's time to start eating that salad, or thinking about new meals that you can make that just feel more refreshing and spring like and exciting for you to eat that aren't a part of your hibernation diet. A big part of the nutrition and overall wellness evaluation is to ask yourself how you're doing. Like literally, like Victoria, how are you doing? And before answering that question for yourself, this is definitely a journal prompt, but before answering that question for yourself, take a breath. Let your brain like scan for answers before anything comes out of your mouth, and then evaluate what that brain scan looked like. If someone asked me how I'm doing right now, I would honestly tell them that my body's feeling a little tired. I feel like I need to be stretching more. I need a massage and I need to be drinking more water. And those are my like immediate needs and feelings. And understanding that in relation to where I am today and everything that's going on in my life, that's really good information to know. It's really important to check in with yourself just to ask how you're doing so that you can give yourself the things that you need. And the last part of this spring reset is evaluating your hobbies and personal development. Spring is the time to try something new. Did you always want to learn how to do pottery? Sign up for the class. Are you randomly into drawing recently? The Met literally has date nights on Fridays and Saturdays where they provide materials to whoever comes to the class. It's free, and you can just go and sit and draw with other people who are there doing the same thing. It's a fun and free way to experience something new. Are you maybe thinking about a side hustle? Start with one small action towards it. And for me, I love reading, and this is the time where I will start looking for new books. In the winter, this past winter, I was reading the A Court of Thorns and Roses series by Sarah J. Maas. That was definitely like a winter series to read. I was constantly glued to it, and it was dense. The average page count, I would say, is like 500 pages for each book. But now I need like quick 300-page reads that are like romantic and not too scary, not too many frills, like just something light and easy. I also love memoirs. So, yeah, I will be looking for books to read for the coming spring, but it's also a great time to start picking up mindset and personal development books so that you can take some of these new tools and tricks into the new season with you. And then lastly, refresh your music content. I can say for myself that in the winter, I definitely listen to a lot of slower, sadder music. But as the sun starts to shine, as it starts to get warmer, all I want to do is dance. So that is going to be where I'm putting my energy towards, finding music that I can dance to and being out in the world dancing. Spring is here, and this is your sign to step into your glow up season with intention. Whether you're resetting your goals, revamping your routines, or just embracing fresh energy, remember that small changes lead to big transformations. All you have to do is just start. Take one action today towards your new, brighter spring self. This is your time to bloom. Thank you so much for tuning in. If this episode resonated with you or would be helpful for someone you know, please subscribe on Spotify, Apple, or YouTube and share it with a friend. You can also follow the podcast on Instagram at and.everything.inbetween for updates, and you can find me on Instagram at victoria.liverpool. This podcast is sound designed and edited by Misty Avenger. Music for this podcast is The Dude by Matt Large, courtesy of Epidemic Sound. Details provided in the description. Remember, episodes drop weekly on Sundays at 7 p.m. Until then, keep growing, glowing, and remember, you got this.